Hello there, I hope you're doing great. My name is Peter and today I'm here to show you what's the best way to sort photos of different people. This is especially useful when you're going to be taking professional photos of a big event, like a prom or a marathon, where you are going to be taking a large amount of photos of different people and you're going to need to sort these pictures by who appears on them, because each person is a different client. Let's say for instance you're going to be taking photos of a prom, where there's going to be 100 different kids. Let's say at the event you take about 10,000 photos. Afterwards, on your computer, you're going to need to create different folders to separate each photo that belongs to each different kid, in order to try to sell these photos to them or to their family. Of course, you can do this manually, just by opening all the photos on your computer, looking at them one by one, trying to recognize who is the person in the photo, and then sending it to the corresponding folder. But this would just take many hours, perhaps even a couple of days. Instead, you could use a much better and more efficient way. That is a software designed especially for this purpose. It uses facial recognition to automatically recognize the people in the photo, and it also creates different folders where it will send these pictures to. So, if you're interested in learning how the software works, come with me now. The software is called Lasser, and as I said before, it's a really efficient tool because it was developed exclusively for this purpose, that is sorting photos of different people. Lasser is a paid software, but it has a very reasonable price, and it's no doubt really much cheaper than spending many hours doing it manually. You can also fully test it for 28 days using its free trial. No need to compromise or give any credit cards, you can just download it and test it. I will be providing for you a link to download it. So now let's get into the actual tutorial of the software. After you downloaded and opened it, you will find a place to log in. If you don't have an account yet, you can easily choose this option to create a new user. You just have to provide your information here and then you can create your account and start using it. I just logged in using my test user now. At the beginning, you'll see three different options. Let's choose sort photos for our purpose now. Now here on the next screen, you can see all your collections. Every time you're going to sort photos of a different event, you can create a new collection, so it doesn't get confused with your other events. Let's say for example you took photos of a prom and a marathon at the same week. Here you can create a new collection to work on your prom photos and a different collection to work on your marathon photos. So now I'll show you how we can create a new collection. You will see that we need to fill some information here. Here in ID, it's the name you are going to give to your collection. You can give it any name you want. You just need to know that the ID name has to be always unique, because if you create one ID now and after a few days you create another collection with the same ID, it's going to cause the software to malfunction. So, a good tip for you to never name two collections the same name is to always put the date on the name of your collections. Let's say I'm going to be working on graduation photos. Then I can put graduation photos, year 2002, month June, and date 20. So this way, as you're using the date, you know that this name is going to be unique. Here in collection folder, you need to put the path to the folder where the photos are. If you don't know how to find this path, it's very simple. You can simply open the File Explorer on your computer. Then you go to the folder where the photos are at and you can click on this bar here. It will show you the path. You can just Ctrl+C this path and Ctrl+V there. But before you do this, I will explain that you need to organize this folder in a specific way. You need to have two folders inside of this main folder. One is for the recognition, and the other is for the events that you have on this collection. Inside this folder named Recognition, you need to have exactly one photo of each person you want to sort. As in this example, it was a graduation party that I was taking photos of, I have one photo of each student that was at the party. I'll open some of them so you can see. It doesn't have to be a specific photo, just have to be a photo of the person you want to recognize looking straight for the camera with a clean face. And then the software will use these faces to find them on the other pictures. Notice that here each photo is named after the person. These names are important because after we finish our separation using laser, the software will create folders with these names that we used here. So if this photo is named Mary, all the photos that this person appears at will go to a folder named Mary. If there is another photo named John, all the photos with that face will go to a folder named John. And again, it's important here that you have only one photo of each person. Let's go back to the main folder. The other folder you need to have here, it's called Events. This is a folder for the events you're taking pictures in that specific collection. So let's say you're taking photos of a group of school students that are graduating in high school. You took photos of two events. One was at the graduation event during the day, and the other was the prom at night. Inside the same collection, you can create different events to separate them and organize better. If you don't want to separate the events, or if you just have one event inside your collection, you just put one folder inside here. In our case, we just have one folder for the graduation party. And inside here, it's going to be all the photos that we took. So now that I explained to you what are the purpose of these folders, we can put the path to them. Here I'm going to Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V the collection folder. As I named the events folder Events and the recognition folder Recognition, the software already automatically put them here. If the software didn't find these paths, or if the folders we put there had different names, then we could just do it manually, like we did with the main folder. And here where it's written professional, it's the last information we need to provide. This is in case you have a big team with different people. Then you can always know who is the person responsible to work at this project. In this case, I'm going to put my name here. If you're working alone, just create a profile for yourself and you always use it. So here you can create the new collection. The software will start the process to upload the photos to their cloud, where it will be stored temporarily. They do this uploading so they can use the processing power of their server online, instead of needing to process using your own personal computer. And this is really good because they have very powerful computers at their servers to do this job for us. So our work will be always fast and efficient, independent of the specifications of your personal hardware. So we are uploading the photos now. This may take a while depending on the number of pictures you have and on your internet speed. You can use this time to work on something else and then you can come back when the process is finished. And I will skip this time here on the video. After we finish exporting, we can select our collection here on the left side and click on Tag here in the middle. It will take a couple of seconds to load a few settings, and then we can click in Start. It will open this new window, and this is the main window of the software where we will actually sort our photos. You can notice that we have a few different tools, but don't worry, I will explain for you along the video how you can use the main important ones. Here at the bottom, you can see it's displaying us the photos that we just uploaded. You can use this scrolling bar to navigate, and you can also use this button with arrows here. This double arrow here is used to go to the end or to the beginning of the photos that you are displaying. You're going to notice that once you put the mouse pointer over a picture, it's going to show this picture in the middle. If we want to fix this picture here in the middle, we can left click on it, and then it's going to be fixed. Now you need to understand that the way the software sorts photos is by using tags. First, it's going to put a tag on all the important faces that appear on the photos. Then, when you give the command, it will separate them using these tags. So to exemplify, all the photos that have a face with a tag written Mary will go to a folder named Mary, and all the photos with the tag Jack will go to the folder named Jack. If a photo contains both tags Mary and Jack, copies of this photo will go to both of their folders. So now, how do we tag these photos? When you select a photo here, you see that normally it already displays a red square around the face of the person. And this is a sign that the software already recognized this face. If you left click inside this square, it will pop up this little window showing his or her name. It will also show the face of the person, the same face that we used on the recognition folder, so you can check if it's really a match. This little window shows us that the picture is now tagged. You can also see that here at the bottom it shows us the name of the people that are tagged in this picture. Another way of tagging people, besides clicking inside this red square, is just by selecting the picture and then pressing enter. We can also use the arrows on the keyboard to move between the pictures. So if we keep moving and pressing enter, we will keep tagging photos. Another cool thing here is that you can use the Ctrl and the Shift keys to select multiple pictures, like you do normally on a computer. So if I click here and use Ctrl and click here, I now selected these two pictures, and if I click enter, I will tag both of them. If I click here and I click here in the end with Shift, I will select all these pictures, and by clicking enter, boom, tagging all of them. So you can see that we can tag people very fast just by doing this, but there is an even faster way. There is a way to tag all the photos automatically at once. And you can do this by going here at the top at Tools, and then Auto Tag, and then you're going to choose Auto Tag all the photos, and then choose in photos which do and don't have tags. You can confirm the auto tag here. Now let's look at this option. Tag photos which are among many photos with the same face, even if the face isn't found. This option is for a case like this. Look, you can see Anna in all this photo. And then suddenly the software is not sure if it's Anna because it's showing her back now. But as this is in the middle of a lot of pictures of Anna, the software will understand that this too is Anna. We can leave this option on. Now the software tagged all the photos that it recognized. You'll notice that it's very precise. At photos we have a clean shot with a clean face looking directly towards the camera. It will recognize the right person in more than 99% of the times. And this is a precision even better than the human eye. Now that we already have tagged many photos, we can filter these photos going to this option here, where it's written all photos. You can notice here that it already has all the names that we put on the recognition folder. So if we click here in Anna, for example, it will show us only the photos that the software recognized Anna's face. And it's important to notice here that each name represents a filter and each filter represents a folder. So when we finish this process here, the software will export to folders with these names. Here we can also find a folder named Making Of. Inside here it will put all the pictures that don't have a tag. So we can find here photos of the place, objects, and photos of people that were not on the recognition folder. Another filter we could find here is a filter for the events we could have inside this collection. But as in our case we just have one event, we won't be needing it. Let's check Anna's folder again. You can see here that it recognized 340 pictures with her face. So if we were to ask the software to export these photos now, it would put all these 340 photos to a folder named Anna. But we are not going to do this yet, because although just by using auto tag we can tag and sort correctly a lot of photos, we still need to check 4 other factors. The first one is when a person is not on the recognition folder. This can happen for many reasons, like the person could be absent when we were taking the photos for the folder. But don't worry, this problem is very easy to solve. A very fast way to see if this problem has happened is to go to the Making Of folder. Here we will find all the photos with the people that don't have tags. Look at this girl, for example. We can see that we have a lot of photos of her. And we also have photos of her with other people, her family, so we can see that she's important. She's probably one of the students that are graduating, and we need to create a folder for her. So now, how do we do this? It's very simple. You just need to select a photo that appears her face clearly. It can be this one. So you're going to click over her face, and then it's going to show us all the options with all the faces of the people that are on the recognition folder. You can see that she's not here. So we need to create a new ID for her. And we can do this clicking here. You will notice that the software automatically gave her an ID, but we can change this name. We just need to go back to that window with all the faces, and then we can click here on Rename. We need to check the ID that the software gave to her. We can do this looking here, and then in this new window, we can put the ID that we want to change and write the new ID that we want to name her. Now, she's tagged as Zoe. If I don't know her name, I can just leave a random code. And now I can find all the photos that Zoe is at. I just need to go here in Tools, Alt Tag again, but now I'm going to choose this option here, and then this option here. We can confirm, execute. You see, it already found 334 pictures of Zoe. Look how amazing. Now let's move to the second point that you need to pay attention. That's when the software did not recognize the person. This can happen for a few different reasons, like they can be using a different accessory such as sunglasses, or they are making a different face, or they are looking in a different direction. So it's also good we check the make of photos to see if there are photos like this. Now look at this case here. She is wearing big sunglasses, so the software is not recognizing her. But we can still tag her on these photos. And how we do this? We simply click over her face, and the software will open again this window, and we can check who she is. Looking here, I can notice that this is Mary, so I'm going to click here, and now the software already understands that this face is also Mary. Sometimes the software will tag someone with a green or a yellow square instead of a red one. This means that the software did recognize the person, but it's not 100% sure. So in this case, you see she's looking to the side, which makes it harder to recognize her, but the software already tagged the person who it thinks it is. But it also tagged as making of photos and review later. So we can keep this tag if we know that this is really Margaret, or we can click on her face to tag someone else. As in this case, I know that this is Margaret, I will just remove the other tags. To remove the other tags, we can simply click on its name, and it will disappear, meaning that this is not anymore tagged as review and just as Margaret. After we finished the review in these photos where the software did not recognize the person or it was not 100% sure, we can move to our third point. That is when it recognizes the person correctly, but you do not want that person tagged in that photo. This normally happens when there's someone in the background. Let's see some examples. In this example here, you can see that Anna is the main person at this photo, but then the software recognized Michelle and Elizabeth at the background. But of course, Michelle does not want this photo in her folder, so we need to remove her tag. How do we do this? We can simply click over her name here at the tag. Remove it, and then Elizabeth remove it also. Now this photo is only tagged with Anna. Very simple this one, yes? So I advise you to have a quick look at all the photos, and when you find that someone is tagged in the background, you can just remove them. Like here again. And then when you finish removing all the people from the background, we can go to our fourth and last point. That is to check the photos of a big group of people. In this case, their faces will be very tiny, and sometimes, depending on the quality of the photo, it can be harder for the software to detect these faces. Look at this photo for example. We can see that the software already recognized many faces, but perhaps it didn't find some of them. Let's see this guy for example. If we wanted to tag him, we could just click on his face, and then we would find his name here. Actually, in this case, the problem was that this guy was not on the recognition folder, but if it was, we would be able to tag him there. Now let's say I tagged all the important people that I want here in this photo. If I move to the next photo, I can see that it's the same group, but I don't want to tag them all over again. So what I can do is just press 4. This is a shortcut to copy all the tags from the previous photo. But we can see that they are tagged as red and not as blue as usual. If it's tagged as red, it means that it will go to this person's folder, but it will be separated from the other blue ones. We don't want this in this case, so we are going to change them to blue. How do we do this? Just by clicking space. Now all of them are blue. If I want to put the same tags in this photo, I can do the same. Press 4 to copy from the previous one and then press space to change to blue. And I can do this as many times as I want. Now that you understand the main tools of the software, you can find other shortcuts by going here in General and in Shortcuts. I won't explain each of them now, but you can take a look at them later because they can save you a lot of time. Okay, so let's say we finished reviewing and tagging all of the photos. Now we can export them, and I will show you how to do this. To export these photos, we're going to click here to close the window, as we won't need this window anymore. We can confirm. It's going to ask us if we want to save our progress, and we must click yes. Now we can close this window. And here, instead of tagging, now we are going to click export. It's going to show us the path that it's going to export. We can keep this one or change. Here in this option, we can just choose the first one and then click in export. But before we do this, you should know a few things. It's important you do this on the same computer you uploaded the photos. And it's also important you don't move the original folder or any of the files inside it, or it can also cause the software to malfunction. This happens because the photos we uploaded before were compressed to make it lighter. So the software will use the same photos we have on our computer, the ones that are not compressed and have high quality, to create the new files. And then click in export. If you want, we can click here on this button to check the progress. After we finished the process that was pretty fast, we can open the folders of the students. So here I can see only photos of Anna. If I go to Jack's folder, only photos of Jack. And that's quite amazing, isn't it? I know this process could sound a little confusing at first, but it's certainly much faster than doing it all manually just by Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. It is estimated that an experienced professional using no software can sort only around 2,000 photos a day, while someone that is using Laser can sort around 10,000 photos in the first days and around 20,000 photos a day after getting a little more used to the software. So it's definitely worth using it. And I believe it's definitely worth paying the small price for the software after the trial expired, because your work is going to be much more productive. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can always contact Laser and its support team, which I'm part of, and we will be very happy to help you.